Viewers, today we take you to a land once known only for its poverty, its struggles, and endless wars. But today, that same nation stands proudly among the fastest growing and most self-reliant countries in the entire world. Yes, we are talking about Burkina Faso, and about the extraordinary young leader who made it all possible, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. This is the same land that once lived under the shadow of colonial chains. But now it shines with the light of innovation, technology, and progress that even powerful empires cannot ignore. Where once stood mud houses, now rise modern cities of steel and glass. Where cattle once roamed the dusty roads, today drones patrol the skies. And where endless fields once stretched with nothing but green, now stand Africa's largest solar energy farms, providing light not only to Burkina Faso, but to neighboring nations as well. And here's the astonishing part. This transformation wasn't funded by Western powers, nor driven by foreign investors or ancient monarchs. It happened under the leadership of a single man, a young revolutionary president with a vision and an unshakable faith, Ibrahim Traoré. In today's story, we'll uncover how he turned a struggling, forgotten land into a rising powerhouse that has left scientists stunned and world leaders speechless. So stay with us till the end, because what you are about to hear will change the way you see Africa forever. It all began the day Ibrahim Traoré decided to rebuild his country's economic foundation. Once Burkina Faso was trapped in a severe economic crisis. The country's harsh terrain, filled with rocky mountains, narrow valleys, and broken infrastructure, made trade and transport almost impossible. Roads were often blocked by floods or storms, and goods took weeks to reach their destinations. But Captain Ibrahim saw what others couldn't. He believed that challenges were not barriers. They were opportunities in disguise. So he announced something no one had ever imagined before, a project so bold that experts around the world called it impossible. A plan to build floating transport ships capable of moving goods and supplies across rivers and flooded terrains, connecting the remotest villages of Burkina Faso to its cities. People laughed at first. They said, "How can a landlocked country build ships?" But what they didn't realize was that Traoré wasn't talking about oceans. He was talking about innovation. These floating ships were part of a new system, locally built, solar-powered, designed by young African engineers, and made entirely with domestic materials. This was not just a transport plan. It was the beginning of a new industrial revolution for Burkina Faso. And that, my friends, was just the first chapter of a story that would soon shake the world. The goal of this project was simple, yet unbelievably bold: to create a waterway that could bypass the impossible terrain and move straight through the mountains of Burkina Faso. For months, massive modern machinery carved tunnels deep into the rocky cliffs. Inside those tunnels, engineers created a series of flowing water channels, a connected network known as the Aquaduct of Progress. But viewers, the real miracle began when the water started to flow. Because the plan was never just to move water, it was to move life itself. In those tunnels, Ibrahim Traoré's engineers designed something no one had ever attempted in Africa: floating cargo ships that could travel across the artificial waterways. Now imagine this. Each ship was built on a massive hydraulic platform, and that entire platform could be lifted up the mountain using a special vertical elevator system. Just like an elevator carries a person to the upper floor, this elevator carried an 800-ton ship to the top of a mountain. And here's the astonishing part. The process was so smooth, silent, and stable that passengers on board could barely feel any movement. Yet they had climbed over 30 stories high. This wasn't just technology. This was vision turned into reality, a symbol of human willpower and national pride. Those same mountains that once stood as barriers, today under Traoré's leadership, became bridges to progress. And while the world watched in disbelief, another revolution was already unfolding across Burkina Faso. A revolution powered not by oil or machines, but by the sun itself. Once upon a time, the rural villages of Burkina Faso were lost in darkness. Children studied by candlelight, hospitals relied on noisy diesel generators, and entire regions were cut off after sunset. It was as if time itself had stopped there. Then came the era of Ibrahim Traoré, a leader who refused to accept darkness and decided to turn the desert into a sea of light. Soon after taking office, he declared, "We don't need to buy power from anyone. The sun above us is our own generator." And within a few years, that dream became reality. Where once only sandstorms raged, now stand thousands of acres of solar panels, glittering beneath the African sun like oceans of glass. But this wasn't just about installing panels. It was about building an entire smart energy network, a system that gathers sunlight during the day, stores it in powerful batteries, and then powers the entire nation at night. For the first time in history, every home, every school, and every hospital in Burkina Faso glowed with clean, renewable light. And the miracle didn't stop there. The country began to produce more electricity than it needed. Today, Burkina Faso exports solar energy to neighboring countries, turning what was once a symbol of poverty into a symbol of prosperity. And all this, not with nuclear plants, not with billion-dollar foreign aid, but with a vision, faith, and belief in his own people. This is not just a technological success. It's a story of hope, a reminder that progress doesn't come from power, it comes from purpose. Economically, Burkina Faso's transformation is nothing short of a miracle. The nation that once struggled to light a single bulb now generates more electricity than it consumes. Today, it doesn't just power its own homes, factories, and hospitals. It exports clean energy to neighboring countries. And all of this was made possible by a president who had no nuclear weapons, no billion-dollar budget, and no powerful allies. Just a vision and faith in his people. Viewers, let's now talk about another project that's redefining the face of this nation. A project that's changing every road, every city, and every journey in Burkina Faso. Yes, we're talking about the nation's first high-speed rail project, a dream that once seemed impossible, now turned into a living symbol of progress. There was a time when traveling from one city to another in Burkina Faso was a painful test of endurance. Old, rusted trains crawled across worn-out tracks. Journeys that should have taken hours often stretched into days. People dreamed of faster travel, but no one dared to turn that dream into reality. Then came Ibrahim Traoré, a leader who didn't just fight enemies on the battlefield, but also declared war on delay, dependency, and defeat. He approved a plan that would breathe new life into the very heart of Africa, the high-speed rail revolution. Under this historic project, a new railway network was laid across the country, built with rails even stronger and more durable than those used in Europe. The new high-speed trains can reach up to 320 kilometers per hour. Yes, in today's Burkina Faso, journeys that once took hours are now completed in mere minutes. But what truly leaves people speechless is the experience inside these trains. Soft, comfortable seats, free Wi-Fi, solar-powered charging ports, smart entertainment screens, and a full AI-driven security system ensuring every passenger's safety. This isn't a Western country. This is Burkina Faso, the same nation that the world once labeled among the poorest on earth. Every major city is now connected through this high-speed rail line, and each station isn't just a stop. It's a hub of opportunity. Where a train arrives, a market rises, jobs are created, and the economy starts to move like never before. And here's the most astonishing part. This entire project wasn't built with foreign loans or World Bank aid. It was made possible through local engineers, national resources, and the fearless vision of Ibrahim Traoré. During one of his speeches, he said something that moved the nation. We must run faster than those who left us behind. The time has come for us to lay our own tracks, and today, those very tracks are not only driving Burkina Faso's economy forward, they are inspiring nations across Africa to follow the same path. This isn't just a train, it's a moving symbol of progress, dignity, and revolutionary leadership. A story that proves one truth. When a leader believes in his people, no mountain is too high, no dream too distant, and no future impossible. Viewers, if you felt inspired by this story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful documentaries like this. And tell us in the comments, which of Burkina Faso's projects inspired you the most? Because this is not just the story of one nation's rise, it's the story of Africa's awakening. Subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Thank you.